Welcome to the Tech Ranch, live and local here on Super Talk 1270. The latest gadgets, online security, websites and apps, social media, and so much more. How can technology help you? Let's find out. It's time for the Tech Ranch on Super Talk 1270.
Welcome to the Tech Ranch. Today is National Clean Out Your Computer Day, according to nationaldaycalendar.com. So what is safe to clean off your computer? We'll be talking about how to make your computer run a little better. We're also going to chat about the proper way to clean up your computer. So we're going to get into all kinds of good stuff. You know about Wi-Fi. Soon there will be Li-Fi. And we're going to talk about that a little bit too. And we are also talking about fishing. So if you're a sports enthusiast, that's what we're going to get into right now with Scott and Larry. You guys like to fish, right?
Love to fish, yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. So what do you go out fishing for?
Walleye.
Walleye. How about you, Scott?
I'm a walleye, perch, northern. Doesn't really matter. Yeah.
So for me, it's whatever gets on my hook. Usually a tire or something like
Whatever
that.
is at the fish market.
Yeah, exactly. I've been known to do that on occasion. I'll go out fishing and don't catch anything, so I stop by the market to pick up stuff. So it looks like I didn't go skunk that for the day. So
And when you get home, the fish are actually clean.
They're clean. I love that about that too. Of course, my wife is like, "Are you kidding me? Look at how good you do this. You should do this more often." So, anyway, there's a product called that I ran into at CES called Deeper, just like it sounds, Deeper, and it's like a fish finder, except that it is like a bobber. So you put it on your fishing line, you cast it out. You could be shore fishing from a bridge, from your boat, whatever, and it sends the signal back to your device. So if you got a tablet or a smartphone or whatever, so it's actually a sonar looking, or a depth finder, or whatever you want to call it, and sends that stuff back to your device. And the price is amazing to me anyway, because it's $279 for this thing. What's a depth finder cost?
No idea.
Right. No idea.
Okay, I'm going to guess. I think somebody told me they started at around 1,000 and go up from there. So dramatically, I think it's a better system. You already have the screen. Mm-hmm. You think about this, you've already invested in the smartphone or whatever, so you don't, and I suppose that's why a depth finder is so expensive. You're buying the TV screen, you're buying the equipment that goes with that. I think it's a pretty cool device. So something that you would use?
Something that I would see.
Okay.
See somebody else use.
Yeah.
Okay.
I guess
okay.
I certainly would, but now of course we're getting my phone out of my pocket and right above the water now, aren't we?
Right.
Well, it depends.
Fish.
If you're on the shore, probably not a big deal,
right.
I suppose. So, or in your boat or whatever.
It's that learning curve. It's the learning curve that would turn me off.
And I wonder, as we're thinking about this, I have a device that on the top of my tripod that I can hook my tablet up to. So, where you put your camera most of the time, mm-hmm. It's kind of this, I don't even know how to describe it, but kind of like a vise, I guess you'd say, that holds the tablet in place in case you want to use that for taking photos or whatever. Why couldn't you use that to mount that in your boat?
Certainly, yep.
Yeah.
So I see on the commercial now they have them mounted on a motorcycle.
Yes,
they were
absolutely.
putting their tablet up there for GPS purposes.
Right.
Which makes it really safe.
Yeah.
You got to get right in front of you, that's all, right?
I know a gentleman who actually, his speedometer went out in his motorcycle. So now this is what he uses for his speedometer instead, because it was actually cheaper for him to modify a smartphone or a tablet or whatever and have it mounted in there. And he actually gets a lot more information from that anyway, so because he's got his mapping and stuff on it. So just,
pretty smart.
Yeah. So I kind of like this Deeper gadget, though. So it's something that I think I would try. I've never used a depth finder before. I guess I've never been on a boat a whole lot fishing, but because I'm a shore fisher person. I mean, that's what I like to do. Is I like to, when I go out fishing, I like to find a nice quiet spot someplace, and so I think it would be cool.
Technology is just making everything so easy.
It is.
Remember the good old days when you actually had to go out and find the fish. But now we've got a device like this that can not only find the fish, but will also give you the fish's names and go through
what
the
they're
fish,
wearing, yes.
right? And go through their family tree. This is amazing.
Well, it does kind of. identify the fish too. I mean, if it's a perch or a walleye or whatever, it can make that distinction now too. So,
Really?
Oh yeah, it's crazy how good this stuff has gotten. So, there's no guesswork in fishing anymore.
Right.
Doesn't have to be. So, yeah.
So you would hook that to your line.
Yeah.
So you would have to have 2 rod and reels, unless if you could just drop it from the side of the boat.
Yeah,
I would guess.
that's exactly how So yeah, you could do that. You could. I think some people, when I was talking to the people who developed this, they just cast it out there, kind of get an idea about how deep the water is and that type of thing, and then they rig it up with their bait or whatever it is that they're going to fish with. So it gives you an idea about what's under the water first. And I kept asking them, I mean, could you actually, because it floats on top of the water, I asked, could you actually use it as a bobber? Mm-hmm. And they kind of said yes, but I don't think they were real excited about it, because I suppose that really puts a little more stress on the device, A
little more scary with your $250 going
see,
underwater all of a sudden. It's like, what the world?
That's the thing, I can't tell you how many bobbers I've lost over the years, too, That's the last thing you want to do is lose a $250 bobber. But, yeah. But, pretty cool stuff. Another thing that we looked at CES was a product called Panono.
Panono,
Panono. It's a ball.
Mm-hmm.
Just a really cool ball. 36 cameras in it. Hooks up to your device again via Bluetooth this time. Mm-hmm. And you throw it up in the air, and when it gets to the highest point, it snaps a photo. 360 degrees all the way around. And I'm just showing everybody with my finger how it does this. But so it takes that picture, and then when you catch it or it lands on the ground or whatever, and on your device then, you literally have a total panoramic 360-degree view of what that photo was.
This is even worse now, imagining people at concerts. They're throwing
They're
up
going to
the
be
ball.
throwing stuff in
you
the
go
air.
up to Mount Rushmore, and there's somebody sitting next to you, and everybody's throwing balls up in the air. I mean, fascinating thought, though. I mean, really.
That
I
is
would like
interesting,
to see what
though.
that looks like.
In crowds and stuff, you probably don't want that to happen so much. But yeah, you're right. I mean, if you wanted to take a great concert photo, and the thing is that we talk a lot about drones on this show, and concert venues and things like that. You're not going to be allowed to fly a drone over these type of things. So. Having a device like this where you could throw it up in the air and take a photo, that's interesting.
So is it like a boomerang where if you throw it up, it comes back to you? Because Lord knows if you just throw it up and then it falls somewhere.
We're sticking with gravity.
Excuse me, I'm looking for my ball.
But you could hang it from something. There's a remote control that comes with it too, so if you can mount it up there somewhere and take photos that way. But it does have a gyro in it, so it knows when it reaches that top point and then takes a photo at that point too. So yeah, it really is.
Do we have the price tag on that?
A little over $200. They're not available yet. They'll be available in the middle of the year.
Doesn't seem bad at all. I mean, for the folks that just love to have the little tech toy, I mean, certainly fishermen folks like having those as well. So
absolutely,
nice.
When you think about it, I mean, when you take your camera and here again, I'm demonstrating in a radio station here, but hold it up in the air a little bit. The angle that you get just by putting the camera up in the air with your arm is dramatically better in a concert venue or whatever. Imagine if you can get that photo from 20, 30, 40 feet in the air. It really adds a lot of, like you said, at Mount Rushmore. I mean, that would really be cool, actually.
Right. I guess it would be nice. And you see, at concert venues, everybody's out holding their cameras now versus the lighters back in the day. everybody had a lighter and it's like, woo!
Yeah,
now
exactly.
You hold your camera up.
Yeah.
Now everybody be throwing these balls up.
Yeah, exactly. And what's cool is that when you look at the photo, you just use your finger and you go over the screen. So you can move the photo around because it literally is a 360-degree photo. So you can look at the sky, you can look down at the ground, you just literally move this thing around on the screen. So pretty cool stuff.
So that's what we're supposed to be doing here, is saying, wow.
Wow, that's right.
Very nice, Marlo, very nice.
Anyway, I think we better go to a break since we're off time here a little bit. And
no, but we were just starting to have fun.
Well,
I feel like
already.
we finally got the show on.
Right.
And now we have to go.
Well, people do pay.
Yeah, that's true.
To be part of the show here. So we should probably give them a little credence and get them on the air and let them run their commercials. So let's do that. And after the break, everybody, will continue our discussion with this, with a product called Grush. And then after that, we will have Miss Metaverse on. So come on back, everybody. Hey, I like this. We're getting back on track here. Good job, Scott.
So far, so good.
Yeah. Welcome back to the Tech Ranch, everybody. Want to welcome and thank our listeners across the country around the world who follow us on the Blueberry Network, on the Tech Podcast Network. If it's tech, it's here. Also on iTunes, on the Roku, and our own app, Radio Pup. So all kinds of places that you can catch the Tech Ranch after the show. Although the podcast might be a little unique today.
Right. I think that this is probably going to be word of mouth wise. It's going to go viral.
Yes, I think so too. Especially if you're a multitasker and want to listen to 4 different things at the same time.
We got you.
We got that handled. So, yeah. So we were talking about that. It's National Clean Out Your Computer Day. Have you ever cleaned your computer out, Larry?
I normally bring it to you to do that.
How about you, Scott?
I'm the proverbial bull in the china shop. I've cleaned out my computer plenty.
Really?
Much to my regret at times, but yes, I am dedicated.
Very good. Very good. So you keep your hard drive pretty clean. I mean, you go through your files and
somewhat. Not my work-related hard drive, of course, but my own computer.
Okay. Cool. Well, that's what today's about is taking the time to go through. There's always, just like your file cabinet, your computer is full of clutter all the time, and some things that you can clean out if you do if you download a lot of programs, for example, in your download area, you probably have a lot of programs sitting in there that are just, you don't need it anymore because that was the downloadable version or the executable. Executable, is that right? Yeah. Executable, thank you. It is Monday after all. Thank you for that. And take those out of there. Of course, emails. Larry, I bet you get 1 million emails a day.
I do.
And you save them all.
Well, actually, in my personal email, I delete a lot of them.
Okay.
But then what you're saying is that I have to go into the delete category and delete
them. Yep. I know. It's a 2-step process. But that's okay because occasionally I delete something or trash something and then I need to get it back. Mm-hmm. So it's good to be able to do that. Your recycle bin. Person should go into your recycle bin today and clean out all the stuff that you've probably moved over there. You'd be amazed at how much hard drive space you'll clean up. And, of course, your hard drive generally will run a little bit faster if you don't have as much clutter on there because it gets fragmented, all your files. So as you put stuff on your computer, it always looks for the open spots, and it'll put part of a file here, over here, and another part of the same file over here, another one over there. You like to have contiguous files, and that is difficult to do sometimes.
It's a nice word.
Contiguous?
Yeah.
You like that, huh?
I couldn't spell it, but
I couldn't say
you
executable,
tech guys, right.
But
You tech guys are so smart.
Yeah. So you got to do that. And then you have to physically clean your computer. This is the thing that I don't think a lot of people realize. You will not – it's unbelievable when people bring their computers into us. And I'm not blaming anybody. Nobody thinks about this, but just the air ducts on the computers of what we see coming to the computer shop are usually so full of dust that the air has a hard time flowing through there. And that's a problem because if you can't get the air through there, the computer gets a little hot and it'll break down quicker. So.
I think a lot of people are like me. I mean, especially if you have a desktop, you have the brain of the desktop, if you will, or the actual computer underneath the desk.
Yep.
And if everything is working, why should I go down there?
I agree with that. Yeah. Why mess with something that doesn't need to be messed with? Right. And then when you open them up sometimes, oh my goodness. Yeah. It is like just full of dust inside these things. So it's not a bad idea to, if you're unsure about doing this, most computer shops will, charge you $25 or $30 or whatever just to clean your computer out, physically clean it. And you'll be surprised at how much better your computer will run after you do this.
And if you have a pet, there's a lot of pet hair that gathers down there.
Yep.
I know because I brought my computer to you guys and you said, you have a pet? How do you know that?
and people who smoke, same thing. Absolutely. Pets, smoking, factories. We get a lot of computers that come in from the mines. The coal dust. Yeah. Unbelievable how black those computers get on the inside. So because they're always sucking air into the machine. And it's not like they have filters. Some companies actually have started to develop filters that you can put around your air ducts to kind of keep that from happening, but most people don't even think about it, And in today's world, as this stuff is getting smaller and smaller and smaller, there are fewer and fewer air ducts on those desktop PCs or your laptop PC. And they, if you look on the side of my laptop, there's some air ducts there, and those things get full of dirt just like that. So it's important doesn't hurt to just run a vacuum cleaner over those, not the inside of your computer, but on the outside through your air ducts and that type of thing.
So I am curious now if I've always lectured on this for years and years, back in the partition drive days.
Yes.
And they're not quite as partition, seems like, as they used to. But it used to always be like the C drive, and you had your D drive.
Right.
D is where you put all your files that you wanted to store, pretty much. And the C drive was your operating system.
Right.
Now, I know so many people, you look at their desktop, and they have it, everything is on their desktop because it's easy for me to get to, even though you can't see a single thing on the desktop.
Because it's so full of clutter, right?
But that's actually their C drive, their processing drive. So your operational drive, you're storing the things that you should have on your D drive. You're storing it on your desktop, which is your operating system, which is going to make your computer run slow.
Right. But a lot of people don't partition anymore like you're talking about. I mean, C drive is your only drive. You know, outside of having, your DVD drive or whatever. But
let's just say back in the day.
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. And I get caught up in that, too. I'll just start putting stuff on my desktop. And then, like today now, because it's computer cleanup day, I'm like, it's funny you brought this up because I actually looked at my desktop this morning. I'm like, are you kidding me? I must have 100 icons on there.
Right.
And it's time to, and a lot of it's just stuff that it's photos and whatever. And you just need to pull that stuff over into your photo folder or your video folder or whatever just to kind of clean it up, because there's nothing worse than trying to find a file after, because you have it scattered everywhere else. So that's the nice thing about today, is that you get all that stuff cleaned up or whatever. But and then the other thing is that hard drives are much more efficient now. They run faster, especially if you have a solid state. So the days of having a C and a D drive just really aren't a big deal anymore.
Right. I mean, and it used to be because, of course, you had such limited space, but now that really isn't a problem.
Not
unless
a problem
you're
anymore.
really moving video or something like that.
Yeah, exactly. So, cool stuff. So, anything else that you guys want to discuss with Computer Cleanup Day?
All right, so when they say wipe drive...
Yes.
Do you want to? I mean, it used to be that they didn't ask as many questions, and I ran into trouble, and I got my crash course.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Crash course in config sys back in the day. You know.
Okay.
I mean,
okay.
But now on the other end, there's a possibility where you can wipe the drive, which takes away, I think, a lot of the paths maybe that have been set up by various things, but it doesn't completely wipe the drive out. There's that as well.
Yes, if you wipe if you want people to never see whatever you have had on that hard drive,
with the exception of the FBI, because they will find it.
Right. You could wipe your drive 8 or 10 times in a row, and they could probably still pull information off of it. So it's never really, really gone anymore. There are diagnostic tools that you can run that actually pull that information back. So, but it will make your hard drive run better. So if you're wanting to, reinstall an operating system or something like that, maybe it's best just to wipe everything out, as long as you got it all backed up someplace else.
Right. That would be important.
Yes,
right?
Yeah. And speaking of that, that's the other thing that we wanted to get into, was backing stuff up. But I think we're at our break, and I think Miss Metaverse is on the line. So let's go to our break, everybody. And after that, we will start visiting with Miss Metaverse. So come on back. And we're back to the Tech Ranch, everybody. Welcome. And in the studio, we have Scott McGowan, Larry LeBlanc, or what do they call you in the morning?
Lair Dog.
Lair Dog. Yeah. Say that again.
Lair Dog.
I love that.
Thank you.
Lair Dog.
Lair Dog.
So you're on the classic rock station, right, with that name?
No, I'm on the country station with that name. It is so nice how this show is working together now in the last 30 minutes.
We are actually getting it together here.
Gel,
so,
yes.
Gelling, yes.
Yeah. So, of course, Jim Walsh is gone. I think he's out on the East Coast, which, by the way, is where Miss Metaverse, Kate Aquino, is. Kate, how you doing?
I'm doing well. How you doing, Marlo?
Doing fine as well. I think Jim's over in Boston. Or no, wait. Where's he at?
I don't know.
He's kind of a New Yorker.
I think actually he isn't. I think he's in Delaware.
This is what we do know. He's not here.
He's not here. That's right. That's right. And he's out on the East Coast somewhere. So we're just letting you know, Kate, in case you run across Jim, because we know that there's nobody that really lives over there. So the opportunity for you to see him at a coffee shop is probably pretty high.
All right, I'll keep my eyes peeled.
All right, you do that. So what do you have for us today?
Oh, geez, there's been so much in the last week. I'm super excited to be back to share some of this stuff with you.
Cool. We're excited to talk to you about it, too. Larry wants to know, though, if he's going to have hair by the time he's 60.
Definitely. We're actually growing some in a petri dish for you right now.
Oh,
nice.
Look at that, Larry. Yeah. He was wondering if you were a psychic earlier, so we thought we'd just start asking you questions like that. So,
yeah, I'm not quite known as Kate Stradamus or anything, but it's I like the future, but I don't really know what the future is.
Well, I've never actually spoken to a futurist before, so this is new for me.
So yeah, this would be cool. So all right, so fill us in so we can give you our 2 cents worth on the things you have for us today.
Okay, cool. So one of the first things I wanted to talk about was apps. You know, we always talk about apps and app wars, which apps we like the most, but we don't really talk too much about what we're agreeing to when we use our apps. You know, a lot of the times we'll download apps for anything we need. If we want to edit some of our photos, if we want to sign up for a new social media app or something, we're quick to download them. And a lot of them are usually free. But how many times have we ever actually read those terms that we're agreeing to?
So you're talking about the End User Licensing Agreement, or EULA, for sure. Yes.
Whenever you download an app, every time you start to use the app, you connect it with the other social media, and then you'll just agree to it. And I know myself, I barely ever read any of the terms on those apps.
So are you going to enlighten us as to what we're agreeing to here?
Yeah, so it's actually pretty interesting. There's a filmmaker named Ivan Cash, and he launched something called the #Privacy Project. And it's a short film, a 2-minute-long film, where he did a man-on-the-street style interview with people outside and in the street, and he asked them simply to show what apps they use and to open up those apps and actually read the terms of those apps. And the results were totally shocking. I mean, when these people are reading what they're actually agreeing to, they were like, what the heck is that?
So can you give us some examples of what people are agreeing to in these EULAs?
Yes, definitely. One of the most interesting ones, there's a lot of different ones. One woman, she actually read her agreement, and she said, I agree to let this app change my device's call log, including my incoming and outgoing calls data. And then she's like, why would they want to change my call log? I thought that was pretty interesting.
Yes.
Yes, and another one was I allow this app to record audio at any time without my confirmation.
Well, that would be interesting. Larry's getting excited now. So that they have the opportunity to actually turn your mic on and listen to your conversations.
Yeah, that's just one. Other ones included give this app permission to modify calendar events and send emails without my knowledge.
Oh, that would be nice. Scott likes to do that all the time anyway. That's why I'm getting all those emails from you all the time, Scott.
I know that they're really tracking the flashlight apps.
Yes.
Yeah, you get the flashlight up, and that has to access your camera, just as you were talking about some of these recording ones that have to access your microphone. Now they've got your camera. Now they've got your microphone.
Right.
Now it gets interesting.
Right. And why would a flashlight app actually need to have your mic and camera or permissions for them to turn those on? Absolutely no reason for it whatsoever.
Right. So they're really loaded.
Yep.
And that's a problem because, as we know, it's the age of big data, and data is the new oil. So we do have to be conscious of what we're giving away. And some of the other interesting permissions were I give permission to read text, to modify contacts, to record phone calls, read personal profiles, and also give your precise location. And this one's pretty crazy, too. It'll turn off your phone's airplane mode.
Wow.
And this explains why. First off, I agree. A lot of people don't read the TOS.
They don't,
if you will. But it also agrees. I mean, it also brings to light a real interesting point. Is that a lot of folks are now going back to the old flip phone because they don't want Big Brother staring over their shoulder, tracking their every move. So flip phones are coming back big time.
They are actually coming back. I was actually looking at statistics here just a week ago about that, and people are actually going and turning their smart devices in for devices that aren't smart.
Right.
And I'm sure that's the number one reason for it, right there. Because I don't think cost is driving that. I think it's the security issue of it. So,
Well, and the devices just don't work as well if you don't give in.
right.
If when you're signing up, you say, well, I don't want that. I don't want that. I don't want that. And then you find yourself with a device that doesn't work. I'm driving down the road trying to figure out something in my GPS, and the person in the passenger side is like, turn left here. Boom, 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 because mine isn't working.
Right,
Because I
because
have
you
not
turned off that
bowed
stuff.
to
You
the,
bet. You bet.
Right,
Yeah.
so
Those are challenges.
it's a trade, yeah.
And it's too bad that they have to have all that stuff in there. They don't have to have that stuff in there. I mean, that's just be frank about it. But they want that data because they'll sell the data to whoever, and that's where they make their money. So, and all these apps, if you're getting a free app, you have to ask yourself, why is this app free?
Exactly.
I mean, that's what it's about, and they love the idea of being able to collect data on you and selling it. That's what it's about. So, okay, what else you got for us, Kate?
All right. So, we talk about cars a lot, too, on this show. And did you hear about BMW's new augmented reality glasses?
We're going to drive with augmented reality glasses. I love this.
It sounds good. Usually they call them bar goggles, but yeah.
So tell us about these glasses.
All right, cool. So BMW actually recently announced that they're going to be offering these augmented reality glasses, which for consumers, the drivers are going to be able to enjoy these glasses because when you're wearing them, they actually communicate with your car so that when you're driving and you're getting ready to park, you're wearing the glasses, and when you put your car into reverse, just like how a lot of our cars now have rear-view cameras and sensors, now when we'll put the car into reverse, the glasses will turn on and actually create an X-ray see-through effect. So you'll actually be able to see a 360-degree view, see through your car. And it's a kind of effect that's created because of all the different cameras that are going to be installed around the car.
All right, Larry, what's so funny about this?
I don't know. I can think of so many different uses for something like this. I mean, that has nothing to do with the car.
Yeah, I knew you were going there, yes.
The X-ray specs will
they're finally coming to
pass,
fruition. Yes, yeah. So when are they gonna bring these out to market?
They haven't actually given like an official statement yet as a time frame, but I actually saw they also released a video which I added to my YouTube, which is youtube.com/awesomefuturetv, and I uploaded it there. And it was interesting because not only are the glasses going to be for the drivers, but they're also going to be used for the mechanics. So I think this is going to help streamline the way that cars are serviced at BMW, because when you're wearing the glasses, these mechanics will all be able to see virtually what they're supposed to do, what's wrong with the car, and it's going to be a new innovative way to kind of make it one simple, clean way, to fix the cars. And I think it's going to be providing structure for the mechanics for sure.
That's actually pretty interesting. So you'll actually be able to take an engine apart, and it will actually tell you how to put it back together.
Exactly. And I'm curious, too, that maybe in the future we'll be able to use the technology ourselves. We just fix our own cars. Maybe we won't even have to bring it to the shop. Maybe using the glasses, we could fix it ourselves at home and just download the materials we need.
I was working on a toilet this weekend, and that would be exciting to have that because I have messed that up 3 times already. So, okay. Well, let's go to a break. We're going to start the music, maybe. Hey, all right. There we go. Thank you, Scott. And after the break, everybody, we'll continue our conversation with Miss Metaverse. So come on back. I guess we're back. And I'm already live. Got to be careful what I say when the microphone is on. Right, Scott?
Righto.
Yes. All right. Welcome back to the Tech Ranch, everybody. We were in an in-depth conversation during the break about whose fault would it be if 2 autonomous cars had an accident.
Yeah.
So did I make sense, Larry?
Yeah, it does.
Okay.
You're right. Yeah, it makes sense, but
we should probably explain to everybody what your hypothesis is here.
If my thought process was, even though you own the car, but you're not the operator of the car because it's driving itself, and you're in the wrong in an accident, can you say, but I wasn't the operator?
Right.
So am I still wrong? Because normally the operator of a car is normally in the right or wrong, regardless of who owns the car.
Right.
But this changes that.
It does change it a little bit. I suppose that if you borrowed the car to somebody, that'll be interesting. Actually, I never thought about that scenario. If you borrowed the car to somebody, and that car has an accident, would the owner of the car then be responsible, or is the passenger or the person you borrowed it to? That would be one thing. That's a little.
I'm always thinking.
Yes,
like
you
that.
are.
Yeah.
Yes, you are. But I mean, you think about the safety of it. And Kate, you can chime in anytime here too. But you take away the ability if people are texting or if they're driving under the influence or whatever. They claim that if we were totally autonomous in this country, that over 90% of the fatalities would be gone. And
I believe it.
Yeah, and since I've been in a couple of these cars and seen how they react in situations where somebody short stops in front of you, the car knows 360 degrees around you what's going on any time. So the one instance that we were in, car short stopped in front of us, and instead of the car even applying the brakes, it knew that there was nobody to the left of us, so it just went around the car. We didn't even notice it. I mean, that's how boring the car drive was, is that the car just took it upon itself to make the decision to just go around the car. I would have slammed on the brakes, not knowing where the other cars, we were on a 10-lane road, 5 going each way, and the car knows instantly what's going on around it at any given time. So
if you're not the operator, does that encourage the owner to then text or drink?
Well, that's possible, yes.
I mean, you could be boozing and cruising, but you're not necessarily operating the car.
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
That's how I think.
Yeah. I see the texting thing. I'm not sure if I would agree with having, some type of alcohol or drugs in the car.
Because there's standard open container there.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, that's true. That's true. This is where technology is heading today is almost scary. I mean, we're at the point where it's pretty darn scary.
It is pretty scary. And Kate, I'm sure we don't mean to take time away from you here. We were just going through this a little bit. So, so what are your thoughts on it?
Well, I mean, we have to compare it to airplanes today. I mean, a lot of flights, the majority of flights, of the flights are actually just on auto anyway.
Yeah, that's a good
point.
point. Yeah.
I think with anything, as soon as these, technologies are passed, I'm sure people will try to take advantage of it. That's likely. But it's going to save lives. And a lot of people say, oh, well, it's not the same, or, oh, we can't really trust technology. But yes, we do. We trust technology each and every day, from our traffic lights to everything. And I think that technology is a good thing. I think that autonomous cars will be one of the most incredible advancements in human history. I really believe so.
So
go ahead.
Would that also eliminate jobs such as like the chauffeur driver, the taxi driver? Is it at the point where you just call a unmanned taxi and get in and punch up where you want to go?
Probably. But they also talk about the industry itself will create, I forget the number that I've seen, but in the year 2020, it's like 2 million additional jobs just in this industry alone. I mean, it's a huge, huge deal. $20 billion a year impact in our economy just in the manufacture of these devices. And then as we move forward beyond that, and all cars and vehicles go to this technology, I mean, I'm sure it'll be trillions of dollars.
And what about buses? Like if you take a Greyhound, will that at one point be?
Probably. And maybe not the long haul stuff, with passengers, but I certainly see the in-city routes going to something like that. But you already do this anyway. You go to the airport and you hop on the transport there. That's totally autonomous already. The tracks that you ride on or whatever. So.
And when you get into if it's a Greyhound bus, is it just policing society? I mean, normally you have the bus driver who has the whip.
Well, the challenge there would probably be that they would probably, and I agree, I think that there would be a representative on the bus. They might not be the driver, but it might be a security person or the whatever you want to call them. That
someone in authority.
Right,
yeah.
right.
Okay.
Might be the trouble.
Yeah, or like an emergency system, like a call button.
But yeah, I think there's the whole way that we do things is changing. But you think about 100 years ago when we were horse and buggy. And I'm sure these exact same thoughts that you're thinking of right now were coming up then.
Unfortunately, I wasn't here 100
Right.
years ago for horse and buggy.
This fire will catch on eventually. Yes.
But I mean, would you say that having automobiles now is better than riding horses 100 years ago?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, we get there faster. It's probably safer. All this stuff. And that's kind of where we're at right now. And you talk about, accidents. Well, there were accidents between horses and automobiles back in the day. And in fact, there was a famous one here in Mandan, North Dakota, back in 1920. And where a person that was driving a horse or was on a horse that was killed by somebody who was driving a car. And it was a big deal. It was a very big deal. And I'm sure the insurance industry had to figure that out, too, at the time. And they'll figure this out as well. So, absolutely.
Amazing.
Yeah. Yep. All right, Kate, we really got off topic there. What else you got for us today?
Well, I wasn't sure. Did we end up talking about the Microsoft HoloLens?
No.
Oh, well, when we were discussing the BMW augmented reality glasses, I started thinking about the HoloLens, which was pretty interesting. So Microsoft recently just announced the HoloLens, and they're augmented reality glasses that are going to compete with Meta Space glasses and Google Glass. It's pretty exciting. So what basically they're going to do, and I think they're going to come out sometime later this year, but they're calling it the era of holographic computing, which is interesting. So when we think about augmented reality now, we don't really think of it as holographic projections. But the way that Microsoft's HoloLens is looking at it is that they're going to be actually making it as holograms. Like you're going to be looking and interacting with holograms. And what they're going to do is actually bring the virtual world into our real world. And the way they're going to do it is pretty interesting. One of the coolest things I saw with the HoloLens is that you're going to be able to do a Skype call, and when you're wearing the glasses, whoever you're Skyping with can see what you're seeing, right, and can actually write down notes. So one of the demos they have of the Skype technology with the Microsoft HoloLens is that it shows a girl who's wearing the glasses, having a Skype call with her dad, and the dad sees a sink. She's looking at her sink. She's trying to fix her bathroom sink. And the dad is able to draw notes, like using an iPad, that the daughter, who's wearing the Microsoft HoloLens, will actually see through the glasses holographically. So you could actually show people how to do things. I think this is going to be a great way for us to be able to learn how to do things or maybe have other services that we never had before with this type of communication technology.
So with that, with Windows 10, which we're beta testing right now, has this feature built into this, by the way, gentlemen. And so if you're wearing the glasses and let's say you want to, there's a holographic icon, I guess you could call it, on the computer. And so you install Windows 10 on your computer, you're wearing these glasses, and let's say you want to 3D print something. You can actually use gestures, meaning that you use your hands to move things around. So imagine Iron Man, when he's out there moving his. If you guys everybody's watched the movie, I'm assuming. So as he's designing his Iron Man suit and he's moving his arms around and throwing stuff around, this is exactly what we're talking about. And you can actually use this to design items for a 3D printer and print what you were doing with combination of your computer and these glasses.
Exactly. And it's so cool. I mean, if
cool.
You want to make your own toys, your own games, you want to create objects, you can build your own robot right at home and actually see it being created as a holographic projection through your HoloLens glasses and then send it to your 3D printer and have it come to life.
And Larry, you can build your own 3D car or your 3D print your car now, too, with this. Yeah. Your autonomous car.
I can see how this particular thing that we're talking about, like surgeons could use that. I mean, there could be a specialty surgeon in another part of the country, and someone actually doing the surgery could actually see, I guess, with the glasses.
Yeah.
You know, my this is weird because my dad had knee surgery a couple of months ago, and they had to postpone his surgery because the robot was broken.
Oh, yeah.
Uh-oh.
Seriously. So they had to reschedule his knee surgery for the following week, and we're just getting into a place where, I mean, it'll still take a human being to plug that thing in, but
Yep. Yeah.
Definitely.
it's a scary time.
Yeah. Well, or an exciting time. I guess it depends on how you look at it. But I agree with you. I mean, it's there's a lot of uncertainty in the world, because of the technology. We always talk about drones on this program and the uncertainty of where that's going because, the last thing that the FAA wants to have happen is somebody fly a drone or next to the White House and blow it up.
Yeah. Right.
Which almost happened. Well, I won't say they didn't have a bomb attached, but somebody actually got a drone to the White House.
And 3D printers, they make plastic guns.
They do.
You can take anywhere.
Yes.
So
So these are
there's always that
technologies.
side,
Yeah. There's these technologies are very scary, and of course the security side of all this as well. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting world coming up. So
Constantly evolving.
it is constantly evolving
And,
quicker than we realize.
And some people ask, where will this end? It's not going to end.
It's not going to end.
No,
yeah.
it's not.
Not anywhere in the near future. We might get to a plane where you could make the argument that the last 100 years, let's say up to the year 2000, I mean there were a lot of changes, but it just seems that growth or that change rate or whatever you want to call it has really accelerated the last couple of years. So I know we're at the end of the show. So Scott, cue the music. Kate, it's been a pleasure as usual. Thanks for being on the show.
Thank you.
Scott, Larry, thanks for coming on the ride today. It was fun.
And it was a ride.
It was a ride.
It was a
We
ride.
really appreciate everybody putting up with us getting through the show and the multitasking that went on in the first 10 or 15 minutes there. So we really appreciate it. So, all right, everybody, have a great week.